telemaka moto na suka nkolo yozali mosungi na ngai epai na yo nache motema kumama mpona bolamu na yo ezanga suka tutanga kombo na Yesu tokanga lisusu kombo ya nani kumama tutanga kombo na Yesu.
I'm here in the Congo in Kinshasa. I travelled out in May and I'm here by the invitation of a UK charity that's based in Brixton, which has been doing work here in the Congo for the last 7 years, helping disabled people. And I'm also here on the invitation of another Congolese refugee group who want to do work with the street children and the orphans here in Kinshasa. My name is Rodney and I represent a UK charity called the Hilden Charitable Fund. We've been helping projects overseas since 1963, but in common with lots of English charities, because the Congo is French-Belgium, not so many English charities have been working here in Kinshasa. And of course with the disaster in the East, many of the emergency measures, the emergency funds have been, the money has been spent in the East. I think I've pronounced that right, where my colleague showed me the subject of this film, which is about the disabled people 400 families who've been forced into a very poor squatter camp, right by the local government offices, right by the police, right by some quite modern shops. And this is the subject of the film, and I hope that we can help people of that community with their dream to move on into a new community with proper houses and proper facilities. The focus of this film is about the disabled community in Najili, and we're going to learn a lot about their hopes and dreams. However, I want to say a little bit more about the work of other charities in the Congo too. I could have only come here because of the good help that I received from Patricia Kambu, who is setting up a number of charities here in Congo and lives in London. I could have only come here with the assistance of my two great friends from London, both of whom are Congolese. Jordan, who we'll find out a little more later when we visit the community, but also Patricia, who has lived in London for the last 12 years. But 4 years ago experienced major illness, a major stroke, which has left her very sick, and she has to walk with the age of crutches and a wheelchair. But Patricia has this dream of helping many projects here in Kinshasa, and I was privileged to visit 3 of her projects. One, a project helping 20 enfants, 20 children, through a local church connection, a local school which is in dire need of help, and also help to a hospital.
We are a group of disabled persons, victims of disaster. In April 24, 1998, our residential center, based at Limete Township on Quarter Ngandu, met an overflowing number of incoming victims. So the ancient governor of Kinshasa, Mr. Théophile Mbemba, charged himself to move us momentarily to this place. During this time, 57 persons lost their lives, namely 17 valid persons, 6 valid engaged women, and more than 34 children, actually 12 years ago. Once we went to file our complaint to the government. We wrote him a letter. We said that once he took care of us, but now we were abandoned. We applied for a residence also to help us for installment to quit this actual situation. Today, the government has answered to our request. He has given us the portion of land at Kimbanseke Township on Quarter Beaumont. That land has no construction. That's why we beg for generous people to come to our help to build for us on that empty land. Since 1998, we are composed of 11 different tribes, now including people rescaped from war, resorted of Eastern Congo, from Province Orientale, Equateur, Maniema, and Northern Kivu. These are also disabled persons. They came now to join us, sent by the government, because they have no place to dwell. This is the reason why we cry for help to generous people to help us to build on that land. The situation for persons with invalidity is very difficult. We live by begging for money to generous persons. Other people poke fun of us when we beg. Our wives have to wait till later 23 hours to sleep. We have no job. We are really suffering in our own country. Nobody can provide us money or fund for commerce.
I am a poor woman whose child died during the time we were here. It was my only child. I have no family member, no relatives. All I have is this group of disabled persons. That's all I would say. I lost my husband. I was sleeping in Senegali stores downtown. I preferred to join this group of disabled persons living in the center. But the problem is, if I do not go for mendicity, I will sleep hungry, so I have to beg. Nobody to give me money, even to do the commerce. Life is very tough for me.
You see, as we are here, what disturbs us too much is the condition of these constructions by mats. We are not protected from disease because the dust can anytime come through the mats. These mat constructions can dwell till 5 years, so the wind can bring many diseases. Namely tuberculosis. Most of these persons died by tuberculosis. In addition, there's nobody to pay attention to our condition, for other people suffer from asthma also. Our preoccupation is that the children we bear are not living with invalidity. We deserve care. They can be useful for our country a day, perhaps when we'll die. And other diseases that disturb us here are typhoid, malaria, and diarrhea. Presently, this little boy near me suffered hard from trouble of malaria. So, we call on partners to help us to get out of this suffering. For we have already our land. Now, we need their help to build. For if they build a house for me, even if it happens that I die a day, my family will stay poor without money, but will not miss a place to dwell. Since we live here, whenever your neighbor is being killed on street, you have no other place for refuge. People come to find refuge here, even though there is trouble and suffering. Nobody can find help outside. In our case, since we escaped from war,
first of all, we are very happy to have made your acquaintances. In short, since we are living here in this compound, we are confronted with many problems. Owing to the vastness, owing to the number of people here, would like you to help us. Since the government gave us the ground, we would like you to help us with the money to construct our own house. That is the first thing we are asking you. The second one is this. Most of us have many difficulty in the moving, in the displacement. We'd like you to help us to buy our own orthoses, our own appliances, which can enable us to move as correctly as other person. And the last thing we ask from you is this, about our children. We would like you to help us to pay for the fees of our children in the school. Thank you for your coming. God bless you.
I came here last week, some of you will remember me, and I was so pleased that you invited me back to talk to you more about your community. Do you want me to translate so they know?
Merci beaucoup. Batumini baza awa bamonaki ngamba leki epenga
It is wonderful to know that there's so much friendship between you and solidarity. I have clearly seen the conditions and I have heard what needs to be done. It's gratifying to know that you've got this new plot of land to move to.
namoni boza ba difficulté belé koluka kosunga po ke boke ko kolongwa awa bozo ba place na bino.
Clearly to set up the new community will cost lots of money, but I'm hoping that people back in the UK and in France and in Belgium can work through charities and raise money to help you to bring your dreams to completion.